colonial office after closing time. So we took the decision in '74 to go for elections, to go for independence. Mm-hmm. Yes, that was after the '74 elections. Right. Yes.
So John, you've always, in what you've just said, always been in favor of a one Caribbean unity. You see yourself and us as Caribbean people, and you're still committed to that, obviously.
Yes, I am, and it's still my hope, and before I shuffle off this mortal coil, as Shakespeare would say, to see us closer together as one people, because the way the world is going, there's no place for little mini states, as they call them.
Yeah, look at the Nevis, what's happening in Nevis today.
You know, I think it's just the pride of politicians. It's not really, you look at it under the skin, is really the ambition of politicians.
Yes. Let's come back to St. Lucia in 1979. Yes. How do you remember that period of St. Lucia's history, pre-independence, around independence, a very turbulent period? What are your memories of that period?
Oh, it was a frightening one. From 1978, in preparation for independence, the Labour Party wanted elections before independence. And we said no, that there's never been any, in the history of negotiations with the British, never any country has been forced to go into elections except with the choice of the political leader, the Prime Minister. This is his choice, and I was not going to bow to this. And there was not the popular demand, it was a political demand. And there was a lot of confusion prior to the elections. We had the civil service strike, we had the teachers' strike, we had all type of confusion. We had threats, etc. It was really, looking back at it, it was really a frightening one for me personally. I felt sometimes I was personally in danger. But of course, you were part of history, you have to soldier on.
Yes. How have you seen St. Lucia change, Sir John, in these past 25 years? For 17 of those years, you were Prime Minister, you were the leader.
Well, it's the way St. Lucia accepted its responsibility. But people talk about independence and the birth of a nation like if it is a day. St. Lucia had a long time in preparing for independence. The preparation for independence started, I would say, from 1951.
Yes. Adult suffrage?
From adult suffrage, when people start given the opportunity to elect their own leaders, although they had the responsibility, but they had no power. The power still abided with the governor and the administrator, etc., etc. But people start looking towards their own to do things for them, rather than looking outside. They start looking within themselves and start doing things for themselves. And there you had the 51, then you had in the first ministerial system in 56. Then you had.
You were already part, 56 or 57. When did you first enter the House?
I entered the House. I went to the House in 54.
54. Okay.
Yes, and I was in the Executive Council from 54. Then I left and became a minister in 58. Yes. So the preparation started from then.
In fact, just let me interrupt to say that this year, in fact, would mark 50 years. You know, since your entry into public life, as it were, 54 to 2004.
Yes, yes. Okay. I entered in September of 54.
And just to remind especially our young listeners, you represented?
I represented first. There were 8.
System of the time, yes.
There were 8 electoral districts.
Yes.
I represented the 8th electoral district, which is Micoud and Dennery.
Right. Okay.
And I represented Micoud and Dennery until they were split up, Micoud from Dennery, and I chose Micoud. Then afterwards, of course, Micoud was again cut up, and I represented Micoud South. Yes. So I pushed myself further south.
Yes.
So I started from Dennery and Micoud, then Micoud, the whole of Micoud, then Micoud South. So when I exited, I was getting nearer and nearer the door.
Yes, indeed. So after more than 50 years in public life, after 20.
Greetings, my people. Greetings to all. Happy Independence to all St. Lucians, both on island and in the diaspora. Greetings to everyone that has wishing that you're having yourselves a beautiful, beautiful Independence celebration. I know for some of you are saying, well, I don't believe that there's much to celebrate about. But happy Independence to all our people, our brothers, our sisters who tuned in at this time, all right? We cannot take any break, friends. There is no room for breaks. And so we are reminding St. Lucians that you cannot speak of independence without Sir John Compton. You cannot speak about independence except you speak the name Sir John Compton. And to speak the name Sir John Compton, you would have to speak to the United Workers' Party. You got to speak to the United Workers' Party. So it is independence, and we are going to be here on the platform. There's some developments from Newsmaker Live program last night with Timothy Polio and Mr. Reneau. We are going to be looking at some revelations that are concerning. We're going to look at independence on a whole, the country on a whole. How should we celebrate this independence celebration? And I'm going to, while people are looking at the good things and everything else, I want to look at some of the negatives. From 1979 to now. Our healthcare system is still broken. Our legal system is at its worst for many. Our roads are at its worst. There's a lot that requires urgent attention if we are to speak on our independence. But greetings to all. Happy Independence celebration to all our people. And as I said, you cannot have independence without Sir John Compton. A matter of fact, every speech that deals with independence the speech writers need to insert John Compton's name in it. All right? And let's just go back. And I know there are a lot of people who wish that they can erase the history, of John Compton and the United Workers' Party in the development of the country. St. Lucians, do you realize, just talking about John Compton, I'm doing research, I'm looking at his life and his service to the country, right? Let's look at some of the major projects that Sir John Compton, was able to visualize and to implement, see it into reality in the country. And we look at the opposition that, he received in trying to dig foundations, like I always say to you, dig foundations that will stand throughout the history of the country. He was building a better St. Lucia for all St. Lucians. And he was not looking at the now, he was not only looking at the now, but he was looking at the then, years down the line when he's gone. What is going to be his legacy? What is going to be the benefits of these policies and projects that he had in mind for the country? And it reminded me of the John Compton Dam in Roseau. Stiff opposition. Talking about lack of vision. Stiff opposition. Look at Pigeon Point. Look at the waterfront. Look around St. Lucia, friends, and you will see the footprints of Sir John Compton. One of our best. He was called Jabla. He was called Not One of Us. Go back to your country. He was abused for his vision. And I'm not here to praise Alan Chasney, but we see it play out again. We're seeing it again, the same playbook. Go back to your country, you're not one of us. Why do you want to build this massive airport? Why do you want to build this big hospital? Why do you want to repair our roads? Very same thing, nothing new when it comes to the development of the country. Nothing new, St. Lucians. And this independence, this 45th independence, it's the right time for us to remind St. Lucians that Sir John Compton was opposed in building bigger and better the water treatment system. When John Compton saw children, families carrying a little casket to bury their little children from Lakai into Dennery, he was broken and wanted better for the country. And one of the things that the St. Lucia Labour Party did to him is that they tried to remove his parking privileges in Castries. They did their best to erase this man out of the history of St. Lucia. We cannot and should never forget the contribution at this, the 45th independence of the country. We must never forget Sir John Compton. Let's just go into a clip and we'll get back to work. Share the light, folks.
I entered in September of 54.
And just to remind especially our young listeners, you represented?
I represented first. There were 8.
System of the time, yes.
There were 8 electoral districts.
Yes.
I represented the 8th electoral district, which is Micoud and Dennery.
Right. Okay.
And I represented Micoud and Dennery until they were split up, Micoud from Dennery, and I chose Micoud. Then afterwards, of course, Micoud was again cut up, and I represented Micoud South.
Yes.
So I pushed myself further south.
Yes.
So I started from Dennery and Micoud, then Micoud, the whole of Micoud, then Micoud South. So when I exited, I was getting nearer and nearer the door.
Yes, indeed. So after more than 50 years in public life, after 29 years as Prime Minister of St. Lucia, coming back from those early days, what do you consider, Sir John, your major achievements, your major accomplishments?
Well, I don't know. There are many. People start looking at the physical things. As you built a dam, or you joined Pigeon Island, or you did. No. I would like to be remembered the part I played in education. When you speak about preparation for education, you know, we were doing, as it were, we were called upon, like the Israelites of old, to make bricks without straw. We had to create a nation. We had 2 secondary schools. If you speak about a nation is built on its people, we had 2 secondary schools. The total population entering secondary school when we came into independence was just over 300. St. Joseph Convent and St. Mary's College. And we had to find the civil service, we had to find a foreign service, we had to meet the challenges of the times, we had to get people to take the responsibilities, to be managers of banks as they are now, to managers of corporations, etc. All of these things we had to create within this very short time. The people just were not there. We had to.
And St. Lucians, let me just remind you, Sir John Compton was fearful for his life. That's in St. Lucia. He was being threatened for his vision to develop the country and to make it a place where all can prosper and have healthy and live healthy lives. He built arteries all around St. Lucia, roadways. There were new developments. There were new communities that were being built. So John Compton ensured that there were roads, there were clean water. And that's a reflection in the Roseau Dam. He built the country. And while he was building, a party was threatening him, fearful for his life. Why? Is there anything new today? Is there anything new today? 45 years of independence, and people are still being threatened in a free nation. People are fearful for their lives, fearful to speak up on matters of importance in their country. Threatened. 1979. So John Compton had a vision for the nation. And he was not going to settle for mediocrity or just building for now, putting up little plywood structures that later would have to be removed, spending millions of dollars or thousands of dollars to erect plywood structures. Without a vision for the city of Castries, John Compton had a progressive plan to transform Castries. Governments after governments. Castries is run down. Our sidewalks are a trap. Our roads look like it is roads leading to banana fields. Buildings, unkept government buildings, run down. Plywood going up everywhere in Castries. This man had a plan for the development of the city, transformation of the city. In 2024, we are putting up plywood shacks for vendors. In 45 years, as a free nation, we are forgetting the sacrifice and the contribution of many of the citizens of the country who have labored and have sacrificed their families and even their lives so that they can build bigger and better. We must never forget the efforts and the sacrifice, the vision of Sir John Compton. Let's go back to the clip.
Educate them. So when we took a conscious decision, and I think I must at this stage give Alan Busquet the credit of when we were speaking about what do we do to celebrate our independence, what do we do? Some say you must build a monument, you must build this, you must do that. And Alan Busquet said, you know, what we should do, we should make secondary education free. And of course, that was always in our mind, but I remember the person who really galvanized that in the cabinet was Alan Bousquet. Let's just make secondary education free. But you can make secondary education free. But you had to get a number of things. First, the physical plant. You had to get the schools. And schools are just buildings. You had to get the teachers. And having got the teachers, you have to train.
Okay, so let's just address some statements under the live, lest it take root in the minds of our viewers, our people. And I'm going to deal with them as they come in order. Anthony Mondesi, Pastor, why are you trying so hard even on Independence Day? So the truth is, I'm not sure what so hard on Independence Day is. And trying, I don't know what that is. So you'll have to write better and explain so that I can respond to you, all right? Because that statement makes absolutely no sense under this program. Trying so hard. I'm not trying anything so hard. I am presenting a program here, a planned program. So I'm not sure what trying so hard is on Independence. I am not trying to do a program. I am doing a program right now. So you'll have to explain to me. Benjamin Joseph, is he a St. Lucian? If you're talking about John Compton, the answer is yes. John Compton is a St. Lucian, or was. If you're speaking about me, the answer is yes. I am a St. Lucian. I am a citizen of St. Lucia. So, again, you'll have to clarify those statements. And if you're trying to be smart, I think this is not the right platform for you. If you're here to be part of this experience, you're welcome. But what we do not encourage under this platform, one, disrespect, smart comments, being rude to our viewers and our host. Those are not acceptable under this platform. This is not your regular mepui, nasty language platform. This is a decent and respectable and a reputable platform. Just in case you were told something and you're coming here to mess around. Fourthly, this platform is monitored by administrators and if those are your intentions, you will be blocked. You'll be removed from the platform lest you, as a spoiled apple, mess up the rest who are here trying to learn, trying to have an experience on this 45th anniversary of independence. So I'm going to ask you to cease from your childish pettiness, if that's what you're trying to do, and find another platform where you would be comfortable in acting the way you're acting out of control. And before I go further, and the same problem Mr. Compton had with you people, he wanted to build, he wanted to develop the country, and you guys were busy setting traps in his way, threatening his life, calling him names, saying to him, go back to his country, nothing new. And just like we said it earlier, very same thing you're trying to do here. Nothing new, nothing has changed. 45 years. You're repeating the very same errors of yesterday. And oh, if you would only grow up and open your mind and see the world not as SLP or UWP, see the world as much bigger than your space, much bigger than some of the platforms that you go on to enjoy the cursing sessions. If only you would open your eyes on this 45th independence, then you would have independence. You would be free yourself. You would be able to emancipate your minds so that you can aid in the development of your nation. But nothing new under the sun. The very same thing we preached here earlier today is the very same thing you're doing. I went under the broadcast, government service broadcast, to look at the parade. And you guys couldn't help yourself. His mapwe and nastiness. You couldn't help yourself. On a national broadcast. On the 45th independence celebration. You couldn't help yourself, folks. But every time somebody comments or make observation, calling them names and insulting them, you could not help yourself, people. And that's what we preach about. Control, self-control. There are times you see things you want to comment, but wisdom would dictate that you just remain quiet. But you can't help yourself, you people. You can't let people be. You can't allow people to express themselves. You got to insult them. You got to humiliate them. You got to make them feel as nasty about themselves as you can be. It's a shame that you must only have the voice and everybody else must remain quiet, or else they will die, or else they're not St. Lucians if they don't speak on your terms. They're not St. Lucians if they're not in your party. And that's what you people do to yourself and talk about independence. That's not what independence means. When you speak about independence, you speak about a constitution that affords its citizens rights, freedoms of expression, freedom of association, freedom of worship, freedom of affiliation, freedom of movement, freedom of conscience. When we speak about a free society, when we speak about independence, we speak about the democracy of a new nation that is reflected in a national anthem and the motto of the country. Lest we forget the words in poetry in the anthem, sons and daughters of St. Lucia. Not of the United Workers' Party or the Labour Party, of St. Lucia. And if that is what it is, as we celebrate 45 years, that we want to limit the freedom of citizens, which I am one, and it is not your problem. John Compton was told to go back to your country. You're not one of us. The vilest things were said about him. And the nastiest of intentions were lured at him. Character assassination seems to be the theme of some out-of-control citizens in a democratic nation. And one must remain silent in order not to receive the mapwe and the death threats. One must remain in subjection to political philosophy and ideology. It's a shame. It's a shame. And that's why the question is asked, are we happy? 1979 to now, are we happy with where we are? It is all okay to get excited about parades and be in the emotional stage when the flags are being flown. But beyond that, friends, are our roads safe? 45 years. Are our roads safe? Is our hospitals a safe place for sick people? Are our schools better off? Are the passport office better off? The electoral office better off? The television and radio regulatory bodies, are they better off? Court system. That's the question, the real question for us to ask ourselves, not how many flags are being flown around the country. Gone are the days when we would take more pride in the country and we would clean before independence and we would paint our electrical poles in different colors and we would fix our roads. We will clean up the nation in preparation for independence celebration. But Castries has gone too far for cleaning up, and you can't have the paraded Castries anymore. Soufrière is the right place for the parade, because there was a representative who put his best foot forward to ensure that Soufrière does not look like Castries. There was an MP who wanted better for his country, and thank God that same football field that was criticized for giving people cancer when they play on it, today we witness government officials, police officers, and St. Lucians sitting, enjoying a beautiful field, a beautiful community called Soufrière. And I saw even more the beauty today as Soufrière House host the National Independence Rally. And I say thank you, Mr. Stanislas, for your vision, for the beauty of that community. And it was the best decision by the government of St. Lucia to remove the parade from Castries and put it in one of your best communities, the most beautiful community right now in the country. That move needs to be commended by the government of St. Lucia. The beauty I saw of the field, the beauty of the Pito in the back view, the beauty of the bus terminal, the beauty of Soufrière was revealed today, highlighted at the parade. Kudos to the continual contribution of the United Workers' Party in the development of the country. Gone are the days when we would fix things and clean things in preparation for the independence celebration. Kudos to the organizers. The police did a great job, and all the paramilitary organizations. Beautiful job. and I'm ever more proud of Soufrière and what Soufrière has become. Let us move around the country and do the same. Clean up these communities. Take down buildings that are a hazard in these communities. And stop putting up plywood structures in the city. And start building for the future. But let's go back to the Honorable Sir John Compton, the late Sir John Compton.
In them. So it was a big task of building this nation. From, as I said, it started from even before we decided on to make it free legally.
Yes.
But we started the whole preparation to get the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. It was not that. It was just started with just a teachers training college. Teachers training.
College.
They went to sixth form and went there. So that is where we started in building this nation, by building, educating the people. You know, there is a Chinese saying. He said, if you're planning for a year,
Yes.
they say plant rice. We would say plant bananas.
Yes.
If you're planning for 10 years, you plant trees. But if you're planning for a generation, you educate your people. And that is what we're doing with a conscious effort to educate our people.
What about your contributions and your achievements of yourself and your government, of course, of the day, in terms of the other major sector, agriculture? Because you oversaw the transition from sugar to bananas, am I right? In terms of the struggle. Speak a bit about this, Sir John, and especially bananas. And yes.
This was one of the dangerous times. You know, the sugar is a legacy of colonialism, a legacy of slavery and colonialism. And still we had this residue of it in the sugar valleys. And there were always restless people. People, anytime you want trouble, it came from the valleys because the people had no roots. When I came back from England, I started, because my family are from the East. That is why I had my political roots. My family, generations of them lived in Miku and Dennery. Yes. And when I came and I saw what was happening in Dennery, I decided, well, I am your son. I could not allow this to happen. So I proceeded to dismantle, whatever way historians would put it.
The stories of you is quite a radical.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
However much to dismantle the system. But when you dismantle, you have to build.
Yes, of course.
Dismantling the sugar industry, what do you put in its place? And the banana industry came.
Yes.
And I pushed it and get the small farmers to get into bananas, get them the credit, get the institutions organized, like the Banana Growers Association and all these things, to bring the farmers, empower the farmers, so that they, because there was a market for their crop, they were marketable themselves. Yes. They could go to the bank and borrow money. And that built a new...
And folks, this is a visionary, and we don't have a lot of visionary leaders in our country, and last night alone was a clear example based on the revelations that we heard on the New Spin program. It was enough for us to just, sit there with our mouths open, trying to figure out what is this. And I believe what, to some extent, what Reneau was saying last night. I do agree a lot with some of the things that the guy was saying. I mean, this guy was throwing a lot of people under the bus based on what we're doing to ourselves. And like I said to you, no, I'm not going to take no break on my platform to say, well, it's a special day. The only special day I acknowledge is a day of worship. As far as I'm concerned, our people are dying. There is no break when they're dying. There is no break when our people go to our health facilities and they're sick. There is no break because of no special day. No, my friends. There's no break for our poor families. And even while I'm speaking, there is no break for me from the hacks. There is no break. But when you are speaking the truth, then you need a break. You need a time out. Give us time to celebrate. But this is a time of reflection. Celebration should be a time of reflection. Your birthday should be a time of reflection. Your anniversary should be a time of reflection and meditation. And maybe that's your problem, St. Lucia. You are too much into the excitement and the partying and the gyrating that you cannot see that we need to do better. We need to improve. We need to treat each other differently. We need to be more kind, more affectionate one towards the other. We're busy drinking and partying. Sometimes we overlook the poor in our communities, the sick in our society. But there are people right now who cannot get blood at our hospitals. They're begging for blood. And that reminds me of, let's go back to, we'll come back to John Compton, but let's go to this clip here. We have Claudia, citizen of St. Lucia, on this Independence Day, is in need of blood donation. St. Lucia, should we take a break? Should we take a break? Ours is St. Lucian, urgently in need of blood. We don't know what's going to happen to her tomorrow. We don't know if she's going to get the blood. We don't know what is in place at our medical institutions. Peradventure, a lot of people don't come forward. What is going to happen to her? Should we take a break? Because it's... And by the way, if your government was out of power and in opposition, would you be coming here saying the same thing? Let's take a break. Think about it. Think about it. But here is Claudia. Here is Claudia needing blood. I'm asking St. Lucians to assist her. You can, from Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can go over to St. Jude or St. Jude's lab and assist her. I do not know the blood type. I don't see it on the flyer. But I also will ask those who are doing these flyers to put enough information, because right now there is no telephone number, There is nothing on the flyer unless I am seeing wrong. And just bear with me. Let me see if I can look at the original flyer. Let's see here. Just bear with me. I'm trying to get the original flyer so that I can figure it out. And I'm right. There is not enough information here. There is no blood type. There is no telephone number. All people are asked is to go to the St. Jude's lab and donate blood. Is she taking any type of blood? All type of blood? Maybe the government needs to have a blood drive and start storing blood in their facility. Unless all the shootings and accidents are draining the blood bank. But Claudia need your help. I will ask someone who have information to please share it with us. Our lines are always open. What is the blood type? Because you don't want people just going down to St. Jude. It's expensive to travel. And you do not want individuals just going out. And when they get there, they're not the blood type, or it is another story. So please, when you're doing those flyers, one thing, especially with blood donation, you would want to put the blood type one, and you would also want to put a telephone number on the flyer. All right? And again, you can make those donations from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., between 8 a.m., the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. All right? So we don't know what the blood type is. So Claudia, you'll have to, if anybody's hearing me, please share with us. All right? So we're going to go back to Sir John Compton for a while. Or when you give him blood, you don't need blood type? Okay, good. So everybody go, but they're asking for blood specifically for her. That's the thing. This is not a request from the health system, the government saying, please, everybody, so bring blood. This is for a specific individual, I would believe. Seeley, correct me if I'm wrong. And if we're asking for blood for an individual, then we would want to know blood type for her. I'm just thinking out loud. If there is a blood drive, a general blood drive for the blood bank, then all individuals would be accepted, of course. So please, somebody guide me on this one. If it is a different process there in the country. She might need universal blood O type. They take any type. Okay, Martin says they take any blood type. Then they can stock up and give her from what they have in stock. Oh. Okay, so as much as you folks, as much as you can, as much of you that can go down, go and give your blood. I'm getting a call here. Call you on the air, Caribbean American News Media.
Hi, Pastor Garfield.
Hey, greetings to you, my friend.
Hi, good morning and happy Independence.
Same to you. Same to you. 45
Thank,
years.
thank you, thank you. Concerning the blood donation.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask to donate blood,
Yeah.
they don't need to know the blood type. What the hospital does is they will give the person whatever is in their blood bank,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just asking people to donate any blood type so that they can replenish. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I
So
thought.
all you have to do when you go there is to say that you're coming to donate blood for this person. You have to give her name specifically, and that's how they do it.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification. Oh,
Yes,
thank you
no
so much.
problem.
Yeah, that means a lot. Yes, thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. Okay. Have a good.
You too. So, okay, so that was clarification there from someone who is in the know that, you can just go over to the blood bank and you can donate blood. Let me just spend a few minutes on the blood situation. Oh, Lydia Francis here, Martin, acting like he's a blood specialist. What, he is a mosquito? He is a mosquito? He knows about blood type. Ay. Okay. Well, we'll figure that out. He's a builder. But I'm going to encourage you. This Flubbo sister needs, not because she's Flubbo or Labour. Where is Labour? We do the same thing. But there's an urgent need for blood, and I'm going to ask some of you to go down as much as you can. Those of you who are living in Vieux Fort, you can run over to the lab. Those of you in Dennery, Miku, if you're close by, and even though you're far and you can take a drive, go give some blood. Go give some blood to assist this our sister. All right. Now remember, we have coming up. We got to go into our discussion with Reneau, and I believe Fresh Start. The name Fresh Start, the company Fresh Start, is going to be highlighted at some point in the discussion. Last night we had a lot of revelation, and I would want us to touch on it before. And don't tell me it's independence and we can't talk. All right, I won't accept that. Good. All right. So the blood. Let's get you over there, folks. Get the blood going. And let's report back. Those of you who are willing to go, let us know on the platform. Let's help somebody, At least I think they still give you malt if there's still malt at the hospital, because we know that they're very low in all kind of supplies. Even the thing to store the blood, they had a problem some time ago. So we don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but you normally get a little malt, So go get your little malt. Go get your little malt, people, over at the blood bank, but ensure that you save a life. It seems to be very urgent, and we don't want to know that we can give and there is none. Call you on the air, Caribbean American News Media.
Yes, man. Happy Independence Day to you and your viewers, brother man.
Hey, brother, happy independence to you. 45 years.
Yes, brother man.
Yes. So what's on your mind?
Yes. We came from a long way, brother man, a long way.
Oh my golly. Yes. Long way.
Yeah, but brother man, I really called to make a contribution on the Reneau Kajada last night.
Talk to me.
And that's why I say sometimes when people talk to us, we have to pay a little bit attention to them. You know what Reneau Kajada told us last night?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't tell us in actual words, but you could actually read through what he was telling you. He's actually telling you that the Prime Minister has not received any money. It does not look like, in fact, it does not look like the Saudis are going to give the government of St. Lucia money. The Saudis does not trust the government of St. Lucia. For more reason why the Saudis are the ones that are going to build the hospital.
You see, the thing about it is,
Now,
that
in
question I
order for them
cannot
to
answer.
come to St.
Why
Lucia
they
to
don't
build the
publicize it?
hospital,
And I think,
they have
you
to
know, the
join with
government
another
sells out.
contractor underground. Now, what Reneau Kajada came on Timothy Polion show to do is to make a pitch so that he
You see, the
could
thing
get the
about
contract with the Saudis. So, Gavin, what I have to say is, why is Reneau receiving money from our taxpayers' money to do 4 hospitals for us, and he's not qualified to do the hospital under the funds of the Saudis?
Because what the Prime Minister said is that the first phase, they're doing that with their local monies, and the rest of the construction, which is in bidding now with the Saudis funds, will be dealt with that, because the Saudis place some restriction or some guidelines as to how that money will be given to the country, and that is you must join, any local firm who want to bid must join with a firm or a construction company in their country.
Yes. And Baraban, let me tell you something else. It does not look like that money is going to be diverted to do anything other than that hospital. Let me tell you why.
Only the hospital.
Yes, they are the ones, the Saudis. From what Reneau said last night, it looked like the Saudis are going to supervise that the monies that they give into the government of St. Lucia.
Yes, and I don't know if
And
that was
Baraman,
something that was added after they came and they saw what was happening and they heard of the stadium and all whatever drama was going on. But based on what Reneau is saying, and I believe what he's saying, that you cannot, as a local contractor, be part of the bidding process for the work there on St. Jude's. So, in other words, the Saudis are smart too. They got to get piece of that pie also, even though they're getting the interest and the payment back and all these things. They're also getting monies from from the $200 million that they loaned the St. Lucian government.
So, Gabriel, my whole concern there now is why the government of St. Lucia is using our taxpayers' money, knowing that Reneau is not qualified to build a hospital. Isn't that not going back to the same saga we had previous with the St. Jude theater?
Well, I think he's qualified as a construction company.
But just to build a hospital, Gaffin.
I would disagree with you there, because he's just putting up a building that he's just cleaning up a building that's already there. He's not building a new hospital.
Because Gaffin, you don't know the information I have. Let me tell you what they do. They're rebuilding the structure again. Gaffin. That's what they are doing.
To rebuild is to break down the whole structure, you know.
No, not necessarily the whole structure. But if
you say repurpose,
rebuild, it's to 3/4 of the structure. They are breaking down 3/4 of the structure to rebuild. That's the information that I have.
Okay, so let's look at what Reneau is doing, right? And good discussion. Let's look at what Reneau is doing. Reneau, he is still, I don't know if this is phase 2, but he's doing phase 2. His job is to work on the two buildings in the new structure, and he's also
no.
4 buildings.
He said his job is to deliver 4 of these structures.
4. And there are about 14 structures that need to be completed.
Exactly, Gaffy. That's where I'm going. Look at where my point is going, Gaffy. And I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Gaffy, the structures are already there. And he still needs the Saudis to supervise. Because he said he'll be working under the supervision of the Saudis. You understand where I'm coming from?
Based on what I hear him said is that he is bidding. He's required to submit his bid together with. He need to partner with a construction company.
Exactly.
From
he has to partner, work under the supervision. They are the one that is going to supervise him, Garfield.
So he's just a subcontractor, it seems.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you, brother man. So why? That's why I heading to you. Why is Reneau a main contractor when it comes to our money, and he cannot be a main contractor when it comes to the Saudi money? Why?
Because of different agreements. The government of St. Lucia.
No, construction don't have different agreements. No, that because the Saudis know he does not have the record experience to build a hospital. That is why they're intervening. There is nobody in St. Lucia that have the requisite experience to build a hospital. And that is why the Saudis are getting involved. Because they want to make sure that their money are being used in a constructive way, brother man. Brother man, let me tell you, last night we don't reveal a lot of things to us, you know.
Mm-hmm. I have the clips. We're going to play them soon.
Yeah, the man reveal a lot to us. Like some he did not want to talk about. Some he cut off short. Some he diverted. But you could see this man wants to speak. And I'm telling you, Garfield, we're in trouble.
So what you're asking now here is whether Reneau is qualified as a construction company to build this hospital.
Yes. Because let me tell you why I said that, Garfield. We have had the experience with previous contractors that government used them, handpicked them, and used them as bonds to extract money from that same hospital, Garfield. We have had that experience, brother man.
But you know, the problem is not the construction company, you know, Gregory. The problem is our engineers, the architect, and all those guys. The builder is just building based on the plans that were given to them and approved by the DCA.
Garfield, is like you telling me the man that have the getaway car is not involved in the robbery too?
No, what I'm saying is that if, let's say for instance, that there's a whole set of checks and balances here. You have the DCA, the Department of Building in St. Lucia, who approves the foundation, the structure, from the screw to the nail. They approve the construction based on safety, based on a whole set of other stuff, right? They approve it. You have the engineers, you have the both structural engineers and other engineers, professionals who put the actual hospital plan together based on specification of international standards. Because
you mean like we had previous in the both administration?
That's what I'm telling you, that there is a problem with our agencies of government, especially the building department of the country. Because if for instance the former government did engaged professionals to look at the structure and see whether it meets the standard, you know, the international standards for hospital, right? And the government engages in the building of a hospital that does not meet the standards. Based on the report from the last administration, they were low ceiling, There were small hallways. There were electrical wires close to
Yep.
water.
Let me cut you short there, Gabriel. What do you think happened? Let me tell you that, Gabriel.
Talk to me.
A contractor works together with the architect and together with the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Brother man, if you do not have the experience and the requisite experience to work with the engineer, to work with the building, how would you give us a good hospital? Gafi, let me tell you that. Father, if I said these institutions stop running around the bush and call a goat, a pig, and a cow a cow. The man does not have the experience to build the hospital. You do not let him build the hospital, brother man.
Now, remember, he started, and I understand what you're saying, and I totally agree. Remember, he started with the cleaning up and the fencing of the hospital. That was the contract that he was given first, to clean it up. But I thought it was a Trinidadian company.
Of course, you have a Trinidadian company too. Yo, guys, I don't know. Let me tell you that. We institutions, we too gullible. We're just letting those men come and play with us. They just play with us. The whole administration of Libya is a whole game. It's a business in a game. And that game is to make money, brother man. I'm telling you. The fellas are draining things of every resources in every area they can. And everybody have their hands part of it. I'm not putting nobody out. If you don't have the experience to build a hospital, but now, why are they giving you the job? You never build no hospital nowhere, brother man.
But how are you blaming him when you're saying that they're giving him the job? If I have a construction company, right? I have equipment, I have all that I need to build up a structure. And I bid and you tell me, good, you got the bid. I give you $5 million. You wouldn't take it?
Of course, you've got it.
Right, so that's what he's doing. He's a businessman.
But why is the government giving Reneau a job that he didn't know he does not have the experience to do? Gaffil, let me tell you that. The man said it yesterday, they personally handpicked the man, Gaffil. Brother man, anyway, that's my end of my contribution. Brother man, have a blessed and wonderful day. Nice show, man, nice show. It's very confusing. To me, Gaffil, to me, honestly, it's very confusing, brother man.
That's what I'm saying. We're just trying to. But last night, Gregory, before you go, last night, we got a lot of information that the government never give to us. Imagine Reneau is the one who opened the flashlight in a very dark area for St. Lucians. Yeah?
You know what way?
Because there are a lot of stuff we did not know, such as the bidding process. We did not know that you got to, a local contractor have to join with an international contractor in order to get the contract.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff we don't know. A lot of St. Lucians didn't know. We were saying it. A lot of St. Lucians did not know that they have not received the monies as yet. The monies will be received after they have gone through the bidding process. And they get all the approvals.
Remember, I made my research and I told you, Gaffil, that these guys have not received any money from the Saudi government. Remember, I told you that.
Well, we would speculate, of course. You would call that speculating. But if you understand the process, you will know that they have not received any money at all. Basically, because there's the process of they've just started the bidding.
So, Gabi, let me ask you another question. So, you mean the government of St. Lucia approached Reneau Kajada 4 to 5 times to sell a land to him?
Not the government of St. Lucia. No, correction. Not the government of St. Lucia. A real estate company 4 times a real estate company is so thirsty to sell government property
Government asset.
that they went at one man. The man refused them 3 times.
Yeah. And it's a gift for his
And they
daughter.
kept going after him over and over and over 4 times to buy lands that are valued at over 20-something million dollars.
Okay.
So that's a big
So, Gabriel-
story. That's a big story right there.
Gabriel, so it simply means when they went after him the first time to buy the property, it was too expensive. So they had to go back and devalue the land, put a lot of dirt on the land, like the minister said. The minister said they had to put a lot of dirt on the land, a lot of garbage on the land to depreciate it and revalue it so that they can sell it back to him the first time.
But
Anyway, Gabriel,
brother, watch a waste. And brother, when you see you do not have a plan and you're acting ad hocly, you're just moving and just doing things, all fall down, you know.
Yeah, brother, man, I tell you,
Because
brother.
if you have
But
a plan for the development of the country, you're not going to just, because it will entail revenue, of course, funds,
But,
land space.
Brother, man, you're doing a very good show. Continue to do your contribution for St. Lucia. St. Lucia need your voice, my brother. We need your voice.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Contribute.
And don't forget to go and send your stars. Bye.
Okay, bless it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to flush you. Sorry, the flush was not for him. The flush was not for him, but wow, y'all guys, let's listen to
The government
Reneau.
sells a lot of property all over the place that has not been advertised. You see, the thing about it is, that question I cannot answer, why they don't publicize it. And I think, the government sells a lot of property all over the place that has not been advertised. And, even like Monpima, I understand, is sold. You know where Monpima is?
No.
Monpima is where Modern Continental Hotel was, behind the St. Lucia Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand a developer has bought it. For me, it was not advertised. And I was even told about it.
Is it owned by the state?
Apparently, it was owned by the state because it was bought by the last administration through Invest St. Lucia. Right? But if I knew about it, I would have been interested in it as well. But I didn't know about it. So do I go about making a big noise that they didn't advertise it? Maybe.
St. Lucians, Kajada just threw himself under the bus, and a lot of people don't realize it. You got to listen closely. The man said that there is this land, Mount Pima, that was sold, and he would have been interested in it also, which means that he was interested in the land in Castries. Listen to his words carefully. I would have been interested in it also. Let's go back again and take this very slow. We'll take all the calls in the world, but let's take this very slow, friends. And I want you to listen. Pay attention. A lot of you don't pay attention. May pui at cussing off and nastiness. But when you are supposed to listen, do active listening, ou pa avey. Pou sa zo ka pui kon han, yo ka van tout te ba zo. Wait. Anyway, let's go back, all right? Let's go back.
You see, the thing about it is, that question I cannot answer, why they don't publicize it. And I think, the government sells a lot of property all over the place that has not been advertised. And, even like Monpima, I understand, is sold. You know where Monpima is?
No.
Monpima is where Modern Continental Hotel was, behind the St. Lucia Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand a developer has bought it. For me, it was not advertised. And I was even told about it.
Is it owned by the state?
Apparently, it was owned by the state because it was bought by the last administration through Invest St. Lucia. Right? But if I knew about it, I would have been interested in it as well. But I didn't know about it. So
Okay, so St. Lucia's, pay attention to your business. This is not a time to say this one is not St. Lucian, this one is a dog, this one is a cat. Pay attention to your business. So clearly there's a problem, one, with our leadership, no vision, no plans for the development of the nation. It seems to me that there's all these secret deals going around with land sales in the country. Lands are not, and I believe that any government getting into power need to promise the people of St. Lucia, I don't care which government you are, but you got to promise the people of St. Lucia that we're going to change the way we do business when it comes to government asset. You cannot treat government asset like it's a private piece of property. For instance, any state land that is going to be sold should be properly advertised so that all St. Lucians can have equal opportunity to these properties. Whether it's all used cars from the police station, it must be gazetted. Whether it's land with garbage on it, it should be gazetted. It should be publicized in newspapers. It should be placed on our networks. So when you have this kind of secret deals with government property, there is room for corruption. There is room for nastiness. So I am asking that we look at the way we sell government assets in the country. We must either invent a department to manage better our lands. And I also believe that first priority should be given to St. Lucians. First priority should be given to St. Lucians. I'm not saying that Reneau is not a St. Lucian, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying we need to protect the patrimonies and the assets of the country. And that is not happening right now. Because if Mr. Reneau is saying, and Reneau is kind of telling the truth and stuff, and then he's being politically correct in certain issue, part of the discussion. But Reneau is exposing a big problem in our system. Lands are being sold. You don't hear it in the House or the Senate. Nobody says nothing about it until Reneau comes out and leak the information, basically saying that, look, let's sell the land up there that the government just bought. Alan Chastney administration bought some prime lands. And look, the government just sold it. Nobody knows about it. Which means that we got to have a look at this deal in Castries. We got to look at the Bonanza land issue again. We must have a second look at it. And one of my questions would be, who is the owner of the real estate company? I'm going to ask a question again. Who is the owner of the real estate company that asked Mr. Kajada 4 times to buy the lands in Castries? To the point where Reneau had to call his daughter in Dominica, who manages the operation in Dominica and St. Vincent. And then she asked him, is it good? Is it good? And she ends up buying it because Daddy said to her, it's a good deal. Who negotiated the price down? That's the question. Who is the owner of the real estate company? Who is affiliated in government with a real estate company that approached Mr. Kajada 4 times in the purchase of this property? And I believe these are fair questions as St. Lucians. I am a St. Lucian. and I can ask these questions when I want, how I want, and nobody can stop it. It's time for some of you to know your place. Huh? I would want to know, and it must be public knowledge. Because why? One, it is government asset. It's not private business. And even private business, even if it was private business, we can know too. We can know the owners of these property. So which real estate company had this property listed on their website on behalf of the government of St. Lucia who were involved in this matter? I need to know. The people of St. Lucia must know. And I thank Mr. Reneau for coming out with the truth. Caller, you on the air.
Good question, Dr. Garfield.
Thank you for promoting me on this beautiful Independence Day. I'm now Dr. Garfield. So Semuna, Lezoka Kure Nomwe is Doctor, the Honorable.
The Honorable Dr. Garfield.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good program and very good question. And happy Independence Day and happy everybody who's listening to the program right now.
Same to you, my friend.
I'm so happy about this question. I'm so happy I've been asking this question about the realtor. Brother Garfield, also, we need to know that and I'm going to mention his name, Richard Frederick came out and spoke about the sales of this land. He said that Mr. Gordon approached Renault's daughter.
Who is Gordon?
He mentioned Gordon's name. Mr. Gordon is a lawyer. You there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm writing.
Said Mr. Gordon was the lawyer. He approached Renault's daughter, the young lady, to purchase the land. Okay? Now Renault has revealed that he was called 4 times by a realtor to purchase this land. And he was the one who called his daughter and asked if she's interested, and it's a good deal. Though he also said he was interested in one Pima also.
Yeah, also.
So Renault has opened a can of worms in that we need to know the truth about the sale of this land that was devalued for Renault's daughter to purchase. And I say on his behalf because the man made it clear that he was also interested in one Pima but didn't know it was up for sale.
Yeah, so he's interested in buying land, and I mean the waterfront land there would be the best land for him to buy, but he's saying he wasn't interested, but he's interested in the Mount Pima land. That's a little confusing.
Also, the word also.
Also, yes. But let me ask you, caller, while you're there, right? Let me ask you.
Yes.
So 4 times Mr. Reneau was approached. My question would be the first time, what was the price on the land, the listing price? 2, the second time, what was the listing price? The third time, what was the listing price? And the 4th time, we now know that it was what? 2 point something million?
2.7, which is 1 million US.
1 million
What?
US
or 2.7.
So
yeah,
it would mean to us that Kajada was playing. He was doing what he had to do as a businessman in being playing hard to get. He was negotiating.
He was negotiating the price.
4 times he was negotiating it until they got to this 2.7%. So they think people are just stupid. Go ahead, caller.
Also, it may be, and I say maybe, it may be that he could have, the government, in being in government previously, may have owed him monies for work that was done and had not been paid. Let me tell you, there's a lot of politics in St. Lucia.
Well, he said he's just being paid for, his agreement with the last administration in work, yeah.
Oh, okay. He said a lot.
He said a lot.
Said a lot in that show last night. He said too much. He stole people. He gave them away. He put them under the bus. He drowned them. He hanged them. He sentenced them. Okay? So we want clarity from Philip Pierre and Richard Frederick as to how this sale proceeded from beginning to end, because this land was not advertised and was sold way undervalued to Reneau's daughter after Reneau was approached by a realtor 4 times.
4 times. Who's the realtor?
Richard said Mr. Gordon approached Reneau's daughter. The lawyer, remember the lawyer?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, approached Reneau's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to know who the realtor is. Anyway, I have a quick correction for the previous caller.
Okay, that's
Reneau
Charles.
built the hospital in Dominica. It's a small hospital, but he built the last a couple of years ago. He built a new hospital in Dominica. So he has built a hospital before, and he's built all his buildings all over the place, all the islands.
Mm-hmm.
He built. So he's a contractor. He's a qualified contractor. There was another thing he said, and I will just jump the gun a little there. St. Jude's.
Yep.
The previous caller mentioned the Saudis. That money is not going to be given to St. Lucia until somebody bids with a firm in Saudi Arabia. So we know that.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I like the conversation. I'm going to engage you as much as I can as I have you here.
Yes,
But
yes.
I just got a private message, and somebody's actually, while you're speaking, they're saying the very same thing that you're saying, and they're not agreeing, but they wrote even before you make your statement that Gregory has it wrong. Gregory has it wrong on that. Right.
No,
right,
he
right.
does, because I am fully aware when we build a hospital in Dominica. I'm fully aware of that. I know enough about the gentleman and his work.
Yeah.
So I can sit here and tell you that I know for a fact that this happened. Reneau was involved in rebuilding Dominica after that really bad hurricane.
So he do have the experience.
So he has a lot of experience under his belt.
Yeah.
However, I go to St. Jude's. Reneau was asked a question. Let me tell you, Philip JP has lied to us so much, it is not funny. Reneau was asked a question. When you play the clip, you'll see it as to why the new hospital is not being completed. It's just a part of it and whatever. And he says, yes, they're using 2 parts of the new hospital and the 2 buildings. He's finishing that, right?
Yeah.
The reason why they're not using the new building is because the
cladding will
hospital
not
is
be
going to be
removed. It will
too
remain
large.
as the facade.
Yes, he said
But-
that. He said it would have been too large, yeah.
Too large. Now, is there anything such as too large when you have a new building standing there? You don't have to hill-see the foundation. You don't have to dig up anything. You don't have to break any walls. It is just a matter of finishing that building plus the 2 new buildings, and you'd have a very grand hospital that could do everything in health for St. Lucians. Why at this time would we be borrowing $201 million and going back to breaking down buildings? I'm digging the foundations to get the right height, etc., ripping the walls to run electricals and in these old buildings just to give us a smaller hospital that will not be sufficient in the next 10 or 20 years? Does that make sense to any of us? I don't know if I've lost you.
No. My
Have I
mind
lost you?
I believe so. My mind is just going, 100 miles per hour.
Yes, so why on earth are they finishing those old buildings and putting all that money in something that will not be large enough to suit us in the next 10, 20 years, 30 years? Why? I need to ask that question. Also, when Philip J. Pierre was asked the cost, Reneau made it clear that the part of the hospital he's working on right now, that he's finishing in June, he did give the costing. He went back and forth until he gave them the costing for that section of that hospital. That's the two sections from the new building and the two new buildings that have been built that were rebuilt by the UWP. Okay? He gave him a costing for it. Why on earth haven't we heard? We have been asking about a cost. So we know you spend $10 million on fencing and cleaning up, or 12 or however many $million you spend, and we know you're spending X $million on the 4 buildings. Why have we not heard about the costing for that? What is stopping Philip J. Pierre from opening his mouth and telling us we need to know how much this will cost us?
Because
To build?
Reneau
We
is
need
not
the real
working.
figure.
Reneau is a businessman that he don't lose based on what I see in his business. He's not in his business to lose, and he have not been losing anything. So Reneau would not have started this this phase of construction without giving to the government of St. Lucia figures. So the government, as you said, rightfully said, would have had figures, or would have figures right now on the 4 buildings.
He gave them the figures. So Philip J. Pierre had those figures when we were asking for it.
But when we asked him, he said he don't know. How would I know? I mean, I'm not an engineer, and I don't know. We don't know the final figures. I heard him saying over and over, he do not know the figures.
When he was asked, the Indian guy was already working in those buildings.
Who the Indian guys are working with? Is it Reneau?
It's Reneau. It's Reneau that they're working with.
But where did we get the idea that these guys came from Trinidad to clean our hospitals for $1 million?
Hello. It's Reneau these guys are working with, okay? Did he sound Trinidadian to you, or did he sound Indian to you?
Indian.
Thank you very much. And you think he's from Trinidad, Brother Garfield? Come on, Dr. Garfield. Come on.
You got to take away that doctorate from me. Yeah.
The Indian. Okay? They were brought in to do this work. So all of this work that is going on, I have Philip J. Pierre knows exactly how much money he has to spend on those 4 portions. Let's say portions.
But
the
them
2
fellas.
buildings,
But let me ask you. Sorry.
and the 2, he knows exactly how much is being spent on that. But he refuses to tell us.
But let me ask you, with all this hoorah about the box, blah blah blah, and remember they had already done their studies, and the expert had already brought in all the reports. And he continued to say the box will finish the original, and we leave the box will seal the box. But then, when did we get to this point of having to go back to the same box? Did we not? These professionals who did the studies and everything else, they did not see the engineers who were there. They did not know.
Dr. Garfield, how long ago did I tell you that they cannot complete the hospital without using the box? I think I said it publicly more than once.
No, privately you told me that too.
I told you that privately. They cannot finish this hospital without using the box. I told you so. Do you know those 14 or 12 other buildings have no permission from from planning, and that's the next thing I wanted to answer to the previous caller. No permission from planning has been granted to complete, or even there was never planning permission on those buildings. That is why they are a total mess. This was a cash cow.
Before, but now they said they got full approval or conditional approval, basically, for the construction.
Listen. They have no approval for these 14 buildings, the buildings that are left, the old buildings. They have no planning permission to go ahead and build them now.
But I heard differently. I heard that they got approval for the existing building from the DCA.
You heard that from the DCA?
No, from the government. The government said it.
Hello? The government can say what they want. I need you to check it out for yourself, whichever way you can. These 14 buildings have no DCA approval. Now, the buildings that have DCA approval are the buildings that are being completed that Reneau is working on right now, which are the 2 new buildings, because the last administration broke down 2 buildings because they were faulty and had to rebuild it larger, taller, etc. Those 2 buildings have DCA approval, and what they referred to as the box has DCA approval. The 14 or 12 or how many other little cow cages have no DCA approval.
I kind of disagree with you on that one, because I remember hearing over and over from Jade Brown and her people there, because I followed very closely, that they had finally gotten approval.
I have a question for you. Has anybody showed you the drawings for these buildings?
The drawings
have they been put up on a board? Have they been put up, exposed to the public, etc.?
Well, there is no official, and that's the problem with the country. There was no official design presentation so that St. Lucians can see that, look, here is what we got approval for.
There was in the last administration. There was.
Yes.
There was in the last administration. There was a drawing. It was put out. Everybody saw it. It was approved by DCA. So be very careful what you believe before you check it out. Has Jade Brown said anything credible about St. Jude's in your eyes?
I am going with it. Honestly, I'm going on this one with what the Prime Minister and his folks said, that they got approval for those buildings. Until otherwise, we are speculating that they did not. But I heard it from them that they did got full approval, because they can't say they got full approval on the box. The box was already approved.
You need to tell me when they got full approval. The buildings they are finishing right now are the buildings that were approved under the last administration.
Hold a minute. Let me just address. Hold a minute. Let me address. Hold your point, my friend.
Okay.
Let me address.
Yes, I have something else.
Yes, let me address Hermina Alexander from Dennery, who is a supporter of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Let me tell you, lady, and I think it's time for me. I think it's time for me to put an end to this garbage.
I don't care who she is.
Let me say to you, lady, and you know me well. You know me well, lady. You know me. You know my family. I grew up in the same community with you. I walk around the community with you guys. Stop disrespecting me on this platform. It is time for you to grow up and stop this garbage. All right? My qualifications has nothing to do with you. You're out of place, you're out of order, you're disrespectful. I don't disrespect you. I don't disrespect your family. I have great regards for your family. And every opportunity you guys get, instead of sticking on the issues, you are trying to belittle me, to say that I am not pastor, I am not this, and I am not that. You need to stop it. You all need to stop discrediting people and know your place and stop listening to what you don't know. Please, I have great respect for you guys, but you're very disrespectful, I find. And it's time for us to stop this nonsense. I'm getting not to like it. It's time for you. It's annoying. It's time to stop it. It's garbage you're doing. You're a big woman. Go ahead, caller.
Block her. Block her.
No, I wanted to listen, but
Just block her.
I wanted to listen, but this kind of nonsense, it needs to stop. Big people, and she's not a young person, you know. She has grandchildren, she has children. Just stop it.
I'll tell you something. There's certain people you should not even respond.
No, but what is
to.
it? My problem is that, and I said it yesterday, we grew up in the same community. These people know my family, they know me. We are all like, I mean, we're from one small community, and the disrespect that they put out against those that people who don't support their ideology, they don't know how to agree to disagree. They don't know how to just separate the person and just deal with what the person is saying. This is a small country. We can't continue like this. And I've never disrespected this woman and any of her family. I've never done it. But go ahead, caller. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, Raphael, may I remind you that when the late Norbert was dying, that certain people who knew him said the worst things when he was on his deathbed. So you being alive doing a show with somebody who knows you making her comments, you should just block her because she can't give you the respect that you deserve. You should just block her and not give her your energy, please.
Could you call me doctor?
Elsewhere.
Could you call me doctor? Because she seems to have a problem with that.
Dr.
She don't
Garfield.
even know my qualifications. She don't know what I have. She don't know if
And
I
will
have an
call you
honorary
Dr.
doctorate
Garfield
tonight.
Every time.
There's people just
I will call you
ridiculous.
Dr. Garfield every time I call the program. I will call you Dr. Garfield. And Hermina, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Jordan, re-econet moi ex magique a faire quoi as a go femme, a go madam.
And anyway, let's not give her energy. Don't have time for that. It's independent. Let's talk about the concerns that we're going through
But
in
I
St.
like
Lucia.
her still, man.
That's what I want to do.
I like them still. She's from good family. It's just that she's been carried away with a political thing. But go ahead, caller.
Okay. Yeah, so Dr. Garfield.
Thank you, ma'am.
So listen to this, right? Listen to this. Reneau said he is the only contractor that he will bid for that for building the rest of the hospital. I guess that's the 14,000 pages. And he's the only contractor that will win that bid, though and he has to bid through the Saudi firm.
Right.
Let me tell you something. If these buildings had approval on them and there was a complete drawing, that bid would have been put in already. Okay? That bid would have been put in already.
But the bid is the process has started, you know, especially with the study funds. That bid has started. Companies are submitting.
No, he has not. He has not submitted a bid. He said he will submit the bid. He's the only one who's they're going to use to do this. He knows he's going to get that bid. And he has to bid through a Saudi firm, along with a Saudi firm. Now, if those buildings were approved, Dr. Garfield,
thank you.
Reneau is not a man who wastes time with his work. His bidding process would have been in already, and things would have been going on. Monies would have been coming to St. Lucia. These buildings are not approved. There were no drawings on those buildings. From Kenny to King. From Kenny to King. From King to Kenny, sorry.
You know, let me look.
And back to King.
Let me look.
There were no drawings on those buildings.
Let me look. I'm going to look. But you go ahead and while you're talking, I'm going to pull up the information.
So, Philip J. Pierre has light work time and time and time again. Time and time and time again. When they asked him whether it was Reneau, someone asked him if Reneau had the contract to build St. Jude. He said, no, there's no contract given. And he used the Indian guy's name and said they're doing the renovation.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked the guy, when are you going to finish the bill? Are you going to give me my building? Are you going to give my building in time? I'm trying to remember the name of that guy. And the guy said, yes. So Philip J. Pierre has continued to lie to St. Lucians. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm there. You're on the air. I'm just trying to find the information. Go ahead.
So we're looking at a government who has taken us for a ride, for granted, 2.5% levy. For what? See, health and security. That was a lie. That was a lie. That money was to secure a loan of $100 million. Then we have the Saudi funds. We have this thing about Reneau. He doesn't know the cost. When Reneau clearly stated that the cost of doing the 2 buildings plus the 2 parts from the box, he gave them the costing. Then we have this thing where Reneau has to go through a Saudi firm, bid with a Saudi firm, so he can continue or finish that hospital. So all our St. Lucian contractors that were working there are no longer there except Reneau, who's now bringing Indians and foreigners to work, no St. Lucian. So you know how much, I hope the contractors and the guys who own construction companies are listening. This is what you get for voting the last administration out. Reneau also said, we heard a lot about fresh start, getting all the contracts, this and that and the other under the last administration. Reneau also made it clear that he got far more projects than Fresh Start under the last administration. However, when all these rumors and the lies and the deceit were being told, Reneau never once opened his mouth and said, hey guys, you're wrong. I'm the one who gets the most contracts. Fresh Start does not get the most contracts.
Well, that's revealing, huh? Where he's saying, no, y'all are, and he's saying it very late. Reneau know that the UWP is going to get back into power, So now
that's right. So now he's kissing up and letting out. You notice he was trying to be, let me tell you something, he's very clever.
He is.
I am telling you, he is very clever. And he's been clever for a very long time in his lifetime. He's very clever. He was answering those questions to butter up Philip J. Pierre a little bit. And just in case the UWP thinking, boy, let me just tell him the truth.
Yeah, he was he's trying to be very balanced. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
He tried to be very balanced, but in being very balanced, he put out a lot of truth and exposed Philip J. Pierre and the SLP cabal and Richard Frederick all the way. He exposed them for the lies and the deceit that they've been telling St. Lucians and up to a day like today are still doing. I think all of us should now say to Philip J. Pierre, we want our new hospital.
Ain't going to happen.
We want the big hospital. We want proper health care in this country. Virginia, whatever her name is, from Babonneau.
Mhm.
She fell ill. They flew her out of St. Lucia. The other one, Joachim Henry, had a heart attack. They flew him out immediately to Martinique. Jeremiah was sent out to Martinique as well. They are all being flown out of St. Lucia immediately for the health, for medical attention. We St. Lucians cannot afford to pay to fly out of St. Lucia. We gave up $75,000 in insurance. Guess what that could have done for us? It could have flown us out of St. Lucia. Yes, it could. We could have received medical attention somewhere else. But we gave that up, and look what we're getting today. We pay 2.5%, that works out to be 7.5 or 10% health and security levy that does not exist at all. So if we think we're going to get an improvement in health, sorry, St. Lucian, Philip J.P.L. lied to you again. How many more lies are we going to be told? How many more lies are we going to accept? And please don't tell me it was untruth. If it's not the truth, it's a lie. And these guys have done enough. Enough is enough. We cannot keep them there for another 2 years. St. Lucia is almost finished. St. Lucia is almost finished. What were they celebrating this morning? What were they celebrating this morning? Supre. Isn't the turf cancerous? They expose our GG and all the dignitaries to the cancerous stuff. They want to give him cancer and kill him. Because it's the most beautiful town. Herod Stanislas' hard work. That is where they're doing independence today. So on TV, when they're showing it, St. Lucia looks good. But it's not their work. It's Herod Stanislas' work under the last administration. Brother Garfield, are you checking? Did you find anything yet before I go?
Yeah, I'm going to play it while you. I'm going to play it after you finish. But okay, so we're going to take some other calls. But thank you so much for your input. I'm going to play some of the interview last night and from today. Thank you. All right, so that was one of our callers there. Let's take a listen for a minute.
Modifications.
With modifications to ensure that you have a better functioning hospital. You would appreciate that the buildings were abandoned from 2016 to 2022. So over that 6 years, there was an accumulation of all sorts of things that entered the buildings, and the buildings had to be cleaned, fumigated, pressure washed, etc., etc. The entire site for the hospital had to be cleaned up. So we engage in that process first and foremost, clean up the building, sanitize them, so that the workers could re-enter the building to do what had to happen.
Did any fencing take
That
place?
is correct. I want to go to the fencing now. Part of phase 1 was also to fence off the entire site. What you had before was, in some areas, you had lots of plywood, which was not secure to fence up property of that nature. The decision was taken by the government to remove all of that plywood hoarding that was around the site and to erect a proper chain link fence around the entire 8-acre site. So that was completed back in March of this year. So we had essentially completed phase 1 as early as March of 2023 this year. Okay? I need to point out as well today something I have not said before. Though it happened before we started back in November, 2022. But part of what also influenced the decision to go back into the original buildings was the commissioning of a structural report to ascertain the structural integrity of those buildings that we are currently working on. And that report was done by the Ministry of Infrastructure under the guidance of the chief engineer at the time, Mr. Albert Jabatis. And the report did clearly state that the buildings were of sound integrity, and that the buildings could have been occupied from, to look at the space allocation for the lab and to make recommendations on how we can tweak the various rooms, repurpose if we have to, etc., to ensure that it can receive accreditation when the hospital finally has moved into the hospital. So all of those processes have been going for the last 6 months or so since we have brought on board Caribbean Consulting Engineers. The last time I was here on your program, I think we spoke about the receipt of the approval from the Development Control Authority. They were instrumental in that process because we had to develop a new project brief, we had to do a new project scope, we had to resubmit all of the architectural drawings, all of the electrical drawings, the mechanical designs, etc. So they were actively involved in that process. We have completed our design review. So all of the areas where we have had to make changes to accommodate the desires of the user of the facility have already been done. So we have done quite a bit of work on that front in the last year or so since we brought on our supervising team, Caribbean Consulting Engineers, headed by a local engineer, Mr. Neil Williams. So all of that has happened so far. And we are, like I said, we have received permission from the Development Control Authority, the DCA. So it's only a matter of time now before we actually move into high gear and accelerate plans to complete the facility already, and the funding. We continue to be in active dialogue with the users of the facility, St. Jude. So I can say.
Okay, folks, so there you have it. The brother said that they had to, redo some of the plans, make adjustments. I thought all this was done before, and the building was 80 or 90% completed. Now the guys are back to, and they're actually blaming the rats and the bats and the goats for putting them back at 40% finish, because when you listen to them then and now, it becomes more confusing, and that's why everybody's just waiting to see when it's finished, when it's going to finish, whether it's finished or not. People are just skeptical right now because from 80%, 90% finish to, because of rats and bats, push them right back. The bats and the rats cause them to have to change the whole design and plans, get new approvals. Just the rats and the bats, The rats and the bats move a hospital from 80% finish to about 30 to 40% finish, Rats and bats. I honestly don't know what kind of rats and bats you guys have in St. Lucia, but them rats and bats are bad. I can tell you that. All right? So, Mama, I'm confused. So right now they have to go and pay engineers and other people, firms, to come and redo what they have already paid for. So let's talk about those professionals who were there before, bleeding the hospital of monies. What were they paid for? That is my question. Were they paid to do exactly what we're doing now and it was not done, but they're paid? If the answer is yes, then something needs to be done, ain't it? So why are we going back over what we have already paid for? So in other words, we would have paid for one hospital maybe 3 or 4 times. Imagine we would have to pay for one hospital 3 or 4 times over. And every time we go for approval and to reduce stuff, it costs millions of dollars. But anyway, before I go forward, I want to show, I think I owe it to my friend in Denry. What's her name? Francis? What's her name? No, Hermina? That's the name? You see this? I know the camera would have it a little messed up, but you see this? This is sweat and blood and money. So watch your mouth. All right? Because people don't walk around showing off like y'all doing foolishness with yourselves. Yeah? Watch your mouth. Focus on what is important to you. This is not. All right? Check here. Got you. Okay, so let's go on. Let's go back to Mr. Kajada, it is. Let's see if we can find him back in our system. That's John Compton. So, John, we'll come back to you, no, sir. But we don't want you yet. Not yet. We reserve you for... Let's see, which one is that? Not that. Wait a minute, man. I soon come. I'm just trying to see which one is good.
Isn't it all about management of resources, management of people, solving problems, coming up with new ideas to ensure that you are efficient and successful, whether in the private sector or whether in government, dealing with emergencies, coping with challenges?
Tim, yes, you're correct in with a lot more strength than just wanting to win. You need to be so very careful in the management of what you do and how you do. And they say, my child going to do it. Never show up for work. Choose that they're not going to do anything.
Oh, we're skipping a lot.
Choosing not to work. I get the impression people want to work, but the enabling environment is not there. There are so many stumbling blocks. You have so many people, whether it's UW, SLP, being brought into government after they have retired as consultants, but somehow they get to have their way nonetheless.
No, it appears that way.
We'll continue our discussion in just a moment. We'll do for a break. Once again, you're watching.
Whenever they plan to do a road, it literally takes 3 years between agreeing to get the road done, getting the designs done, or getting a consultant, getting the design, send it out to tender, and the job starting. By the time that is done, it is totally deteriorated. What is happening in St. Lucia is no different from any. So if you go to Dominica, you hear the complaints. If you go to St. Vincent, if you go to Grenada, you hear the complaints. But it is a very costly activity that governments need to just make a priority, whether it's roads, whether it's health, or whether it's education. And how do we do it?
Why not be honest with the people? I'm talking about governments. Be honest with the people and say that exactly those are the challenges that we are facing. That's why the roads can't be fixed. Instead of saying, because it's raining. And I'm sure you've heard this before.
I have heard it.
That's why we can't fix the roads. Yes. And it's raining, and it's raining, and it's raining. Why those excuses? And you taking the people into your confidence as a government minister? Speak the truth.
No, again, it's because the ministers are looking to pacify the situation. And I am not a politician, and I can turn and say, look, this is what I believe it is. The politician has to be careful of what he says and how he says it, right? But the reality...
But the truth always comes out.
Eventually comes out.
Well, it's coming out now.
The truth is what you believe it to be. And I got that from my very good friend Alan. The truth is what you believe it to be. So what suits your narrative at the time is the truth. For me, I can see...
But shouldn't the people cause politicians to pay a price for that, for misleading them, for not speaking the truth,
that is
for,
why,
for,
that
for,
is
for
why
bluffing them,
that is why
for disrespecting them?
That's why the government changes every 5 years.
Do
That is why, that's the price that they pay.
On this current trajectory by this administration, let me ask you, point blank, how do you rate the performance of this government?
5.
Out of
10.
Okay. Why?
Because my expectations may be much higher than what their expectation of doing is. But mine is 10, is 5, right? And if you ask me, what could we do? They do so much more. And it's not, I think they have good ideas and plans to do it. I think our PM is just too super careful about what he does, right? So something that would take 3 months will take 6 months because of all the stages that it has to go through before it gets approved.
You think that is the main or the
That's
only problem?
That's what I can. That's not the only problem, but that's what I can see.
Okay. Do you think? So therefore, you're saying indirectly is indecisive?
No, he's not indecisive. He just wants to make sure that every group of people that is, but his decision making and the time he took to make a decision and say, let's do it and get it done, a lot of people rejected it. So was his correct or is Honorable Philip J's style correct? Because no matter what you do, people are going to find fault with it. Train out, but he did not shut it down.
But you as an investor, developer, businessman, you appear to have a hands-on approach. You appear to be more...
As a politician does not want to lose his seat next election. In the last administration, I must have done 4 times the amount of work. But I was not at... Now I am doing well in each of the other islands. So I just created a lot of opportunity for St. Lucians because I actually have St. Lucians managing each of the other islands as well.
Why do you think it appears that governments have their favorite contractors?
The governments do have their favorite contractors. Everybody have their
your favorite contractor of this administration?
No, I was a favorite contractor of the last administration.
Explain.
I did significantly more work under the last administration than I am ever going to be doing.
So, hold a minute, folks. So, Mr. Frederick and all those who were talking about Reneau and Fresh Start is not good. Fresh Start used to get all the no bid contracts, and Fresh Start. Reneau just threw them fellas straight under the bus, you know?
Mon pas ça pour manger petit ça. Mon pas ça pour manger petit ça.
So Reneau throw all their talking points out of the window. Reneau, I like you. You're a good man. I like Reneau. Reneau throw them fellas. Reneau family. Reneau have his own money, his own business. He's successful. If the government of St. Lucia mess with him, he can go St. Vincent with Ralph Gonsalves. He can go to Dominica with Scarrett. He's good. So he family. But he want to get a few $1 million on St. Jude's, you know. So he kind of say, you know what? Let me give them a little jab, but cool it off, you know, because I have to get that contract. Money for contracts, I guess. I have to get that few millions. I got to clock that in. That's good money right there. Mahawe, man, you know, if I think like, see. So, but listen, listen. So them fellas would say, Fresh Start is bad. Fresh Start get all the contract and nobody else was getting contract. And I heard, they were saying, look, that's not true because all those, not only Fresh Start, but all little contractors in St. Lucia was getting work. Even those fellas with their 1 truck, 2 trucks, all them trucks were moving around St. Lucia during the administration. So how is it one man was getting all the work and you heard them fellas and they went after Fresh Start. Fresh Start is bad because Shasnan guy was given, who's the owner of Fresh Start? Who have shares in Fresh Start? And you would hear them Fresh Start alone, and some of the hacks start repeating like parrots. And I told you, sometimes you St. Lucians are like dumb sheeps being led to your own slaughter. And very soon you become lamb chops and you don't even realize it that you've been barbecued. Yeah? You walk yourself to the barbecuing pit. Yeah, you don't think for yourself, innit?
Mon passe après Magie Betisa. Mon passe après Magie Betisa.
So, they lied to you all. They told you Fresh Start, get all the jobs and blah, blah, blah. There's some bubble going on with Fresh Start and Guy Joseph. Now, Reneau said, no, that's not true. You all thought Fresh Start was the one clocking in the money. No, it was me. That's what he said to you all. It's me, it's not Fresh Start. It's me, I was the one getting all the money. And St. Lucia's now, why is me, Why is me, But I thought was Fresh Start getting all the money. Like me, Reneau Cadiz, c'est pas Fresh Start, moi, plus contract about UWP, passing labor. Anyway, calling you on the Caribbean American News Media.
The guy said you having fun today.
Yeah, man, it's Independence Day. Let's celebrate.
Happy 45th to you.
Same to you, my brother.
But the guy said, you know what? Sometimes, last night I was reading a lot of these comments on there, and even this morning a lot of people calling and complaining about Reneau. But I want to tell the people, again, if they listen to Reneau carefully, Reneau said a word that is so important in his interview. And I'm glad you played that piece of the tape because it is important. You just mentioned that we were made to believe that Fresh Start was getting all the job.
Yeah.
Right? However, that was the perception that was created. Right?
Yes.
But does perception make something true?
Nope.
You see, this is what St. Lucians have been buying all along, you know. That's why they keep fighting with each other, fighting. Of perceptions, because of perceptions, you know. But man, we need to pay more attention with words. And that's where Philip J.P. keep fooling the people.
Fooling them.
Richard keep fooling the people. Because of words. They play games with words, brother man.
Reneau tell you all nothing like
Reneau.
Kodisamola, I want problems.
You know,
oh God.
People, and I want to say that to the audience that are listening. People, Reneau is not the enemy. Reneau did nothing wrong. Reneau said nothing wrong. Reneau is just giving his opinion as to how he does business. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But Reneau, honestly, before you go on, but Reneau should have really come out and defend Fresh Start. Me say we take quiet.
Okay.
Fresh Start can head to the block lah. But go ahead.
Let me tell you something. You know what? We all know in the real world that's not how it works. You have two companies fighting against each other to get jobs. Okay? Now, Reneau look at it and to be a bystander and allow things to happen because it's in his favor.
It is in his favor, yeah.
You see, what I really want St. Lucians to pay attention to is Reneau put something out that I never heard Shashney or Guy himself said. Reneau mentioned that he is the contractor for Cabot. You guys didn't hear that last night?
I heard. He does work for Cabot too.
Brother man, again, St. Lucians need to stop buying the perception.
Them fellas work, the Labour Party work St. Lucians good, you know.
Yes, they work St. Lucians. You know, I have people call Richard the teacher.
Sharon, I want problems too.
Teacher of lies.
Yes.
You know, they play games with words to fool the people.
More
and
to
you
come.
know what? The perception work. Because that's what Reneau is telling y'all. The perception is the perception the truth.
They even got rid of Fresh Start. Fresh Start had something good going with housing. They got rid of them, and that was a lie. We found out that.
But again, brother,
Yeah.
the perception they had to create that perception so when they come in office, they could stop those projects.
It's a shame.
And up to a day like today, mostly all their supporters are still following our ship. They're still following our ship because if you're not going to follow, you're supposed to stand on your own and think for yourself.
True that.
Because now Reneau has come out and he shed light to a lot of the lies that was told. Yet still I see people quarreling amongst each other. Really, guys? Think of what is happening. The man just enlightened y'all.
I love it.
Maybe you may not like some of the things he said. Fine. But look at the big issues in what he said. Your Prime Minister has been lying to y'all from day one. He said he never knew about the prices for the job. When the man stated that
he submitted
he submitted prices for every time he goes to do anything for them.
That's right. And they approve it.
You see, and they keep it exactly. so who are you supposed to be mad at? At Reneau or the government? You see, the guy is turning. The man said when he's driving in Castries, he cannot believe his eyes.
The man is a businessman.
What is he saying to you guys?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's a successful
What
businessman.
is he saying to you guys?
Question.
But that's what keep him successful, brother, because he never lean on any side.
No side. It's
the
smart.
man works with both. Any government that come in, he's working with them. And that's how a businessman supposed to operate.
That's right. You got to guess who is
how
your
a
affiliate.
businessman supposed to operate.
Yeah, you got to
the
guess.
People of St. Lucia need to learn from what he says. Stop looking at perception and look at what is truth.
Yeah.
Y'all were seeing everything the other government was doing.
Yeah.
Everything. People had trucks that they said for years they haven't gotten any work with them. Some of them said their truck wasn't good. They're going to fix it because there was so much work around the island.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to do something. However, what are we saying? The opposite.
Yeah.
Right? We don't even know costing of projects that they want to begin. But Brother Gaffel, Reneau also mentioned something that is very, very important. Reneau actually educates us by telling us this government is not producing as much job as the previous government.
No.
So who was a better government?
But Reneau is also saying that they take so long. By the time they're ready, things have just changed. You know, the cost have changed because look at the roads. Take so long to fix a road. By the time they come to fix it, they've been low cost or something.
Okay, you know what? Let me tell you why these things happen. All right, brother. When you have people that lack foresight, lack vision,
yeah,
they cannot see how things supposed to be done. It has to go for a longer process because, for example, let me give you a simple example for most of those that understand it in a simple term, layman term. If you want to do a DIY, a home improvement by yourself. Now remember, you're not a professional.
Yep.
So if you have a tile to place somewhere, wouldn't you measure it like 6-7 times? Maybe take that tile, bring it there, check to see if it's going to fit, come back with it there. However, a man that's a professional will just measure it and put it there.
Yep.
Right? Now, that's the difference between Shashney and those guys. Shashney can make the decision to go forth with something because he has the foresight, he has the vision. He knows what he wants for the country. He can see the thing before it even happened. Yeah. Many of us cannot even see if even when a builder come to us and say, I will throw you a L-shaped balcony, it will go this way, that way. We don't even know what it looks like.
No.
Until it's done. And maybe when it's done, we don't even like it. Yeah. And then we go to our neighbor and say, "Où ça monsieur fait ça ba moi avec moi c'est pas ça il te dit moi."
Yeah.
You didn't see that vision. You didn't understand it.
Yep.
You see, brother man, I must tell you, Reneau enlightened us.
Boy, I'm happy. That was the best interview of my life.
Enlightened us.
Yeah.
And I must applaud Timothy Polio.
Oh, yes.
Because,
well done.
You know, the man, yeah, that is an amazing job. And I want all the listeners on your life to understand. Stop fighting amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Stop bickering.
True.
About Reneau. You know who y'all should be mad of? Those guys that y'all employ. Because they're the one lying to you. Reneau is a private man.
Yep. Man making his money.
These guys are working for y'all.
Yeah.
So why is it they're lying to y'all? Reneau came out and he exposed them. What are y'all going to do about it? Are y'all going to take the streets tomorrow?
No,
what are you going to do about it?
They continue to argue among themselves.
It's not going to help them, brother.
Not at all, brother.
You know, there was a gentleman that took a whole set of people on a boat and went all the way to Soufre by the Pitons, right? Next thing you know, he's by Cabot with Marjorie. You know? and isn't that the very same man that sell the land to Reneau? Brother man, people of St. Lucia, y'all have to watch yourselves because y'all have been fooled over and over again.
Well, I gave up. According to Africans, I want problems. I give up.
You see? But brother, sometimes you have to say it like that because a lot of the people not understanding. They keep fighting them themselves.
Kite, you talking about who is a pastor?
Where were the people that were mad? Where were these people? Jack don't want me to bathe on my beach. Where are they?
The beach gone. Jack gone on the beach.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, but yeah.
You see, these are the things that are of importance. You know, they don't care about it. You know, they like the the drink in their hand, the chicken to eat, the music playing. They all pumped up because you know what? Ask many of them why they are there. They keep repeating everything the minister said.
You're right.
None of them can say something for themselves.
Yes, imagine they went on the beach. Jack don't want me to bathe on the beach. Guess what? Jack was on the beach with them, giving them rum to drink.
Exactly.
And then Jack sold the beach on them.
Not even selling the beach.
Mon passe après Magie Betisa.
Jack himself selling the beach now. And Jack picking up commission along the way too.
Sorry.
So, who's the fool now? You see,
people
stop fighting amongst yourselves. Listen to what the man said. If you don't understand it, ask somebody that can actually help you understand what the man is saying. Because the man made a lot of valid points. Maybe I don't like the fact that he's paying his workers $6.25. You know, but I will not make that the main issue. You know, because our government hasn't passed any legislation to make sure that he pays people more. Have they increased the minimum wage in St. Lucia? Have they done that? So why am I supposed to get mad at Mr. Reneau? I will not get mad at Reneau. I have to be mad at the people I keep employing to work in
St. Lucians are good at getting mad at the wrong person. They're very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother. You know, it's high time that people start, you know, educating themselves. You know, this is simple, brother. The man is doing a job. You know, he gets paid to do his job.
True that.
He gets an interview he gets to be interviewed by Timothy. You know, I find Timothy did an amazing job.
Oh, yes,
Timothy asked the man all the questions. And the man, you see, one thing I noticed about Reneau, the man never tell Timothy, you know what, I cannot answer that.
No.
The man answered the question.
Yeah, he went there. He went
Unlike
where
somebody
I
know that will say he have a tip. He have a tip. When they ask him to release that tape, he cannot release that tape because the people will not.
you know, but we're not mad at that, you know.
Hey, hello. Happy Independence, brother.
Same to you, my brother. Have a good one.
Say Lucians, what's your bread? What's Uno bread? They call him made a good point, you know. They're all on the beach jumping. Jack don't want me to bed all the time. Mr. Jack selling the balance land for cheap.
Mon passe après manger bêtise ça. Mon passe après.
Oh Lord. Why is me, huh? It's me, y'all get, is this independence? Let me celebrate my independence. My independence from your solutions.
Mon passe après manger bêtise ça.
You're too dangerous. You're too dangerous. Bunch of sheeps. Let's listen to Reneau. Reneau boy, I'm on your side. You're right. Talk. Wait, Reneau. Reneau, I want you to say what you just said again.
But what that did is it encouraged me to move out. And right now, I am doing well in each of the other islands.
So
I just created a lot of opportunity for St. Lucians because I actually have St. Lucians managing each of the other islands as well.
Why do you think it appears that governments have their favorite contractors?
The governments do have their favorite contractors. Everybody have
So
their
your favorite contractor of this administration?
No, I was a favorite contractor of the last administration.
Explain.
I did significantly more work under the last administration than I am ever going to be doing under this administration. But perception have it differently. So while perception under the last administration was Fresh Start got all the work, reality was different because I did maybe 4 times the amount of work that Fresh Start got done. In the last administration, I must have done 4 times the amount of work. But I was not a target at the time. Fresh Start was a target. However, when there is a Labour government, for some reason, I become a target.
So why would Fresh Start be a target?
Perception. It is just perception, right?
So again, why should we allow this to happen? Why should we allow governments, to use the people, taxpayers' money to play politics, to go after people?
But you know what? What I would say is, Reneau, you are wrong for that. You should have protected Fresh Start. You should have come out and say, no, fellas, that's not true. I'm the one getting all the contracts, not Fresh Start. But look at what they did to Fresh Start. Them fellas went out of their way to ensure that Fresh Start suffer. Out of their way, you know. They said Fresh Start was building, there was no plan, approval. Before you know it, HTS had a story. We found out that it was a lie. Fresh Start did have approved plans for the development in the area there. How do you feel, St. Lucians? How do you feel that you're believing a lie? Strong delusions in your skin. You can no longer see the truth. You'll always believe in a lie because you have rejected truth for so long that a lie is so attractive. Anyway, that is a killer. Where's me?
You know, certain people feel more comfortable and confident working with somebody, right? Fresh Start and Peter did a great job at his time. You know Peter did a great job. The guy was out there day and night working.
But yet still...
But the perception was they got all the work, which was not true at all.
And independent thinkers in St. Lucia then, those who knew better said nothing to that extent. It was not in their interest to say anything.
And it is the same way now. Okay, listen to me. The perception now is that I am getting the work. The reality is totally far from the truth. So you know what's the reality? Look around and see who's getting the work. I am doing work, but I'm doing a lot of private sector work. So I'm doing a lot of car bot work, I'm not doing hotel work, I'm doing a lot of private sector work. But I'm not doing a lot of government work. Under the last administration, I did a lot of government work.
But a fact is that this administration will never give work, will never allow Fresh Start to work on island.
That one I cannot tell you, I do not know. A lot of jobs I did in the last administration was World Bank and CDB finance projects. So I bidded many jobs and I got many jobs.
Oh, so wait, I thought that the Labour Party government said that the Alan Shasme administration gave all the jobs to Fresh Start with no bids and nothing. Now you are saying that you were awarded those jobs based on the bidding process, some of those jobs. I'm a little confused there, but let's listen a little more. Maybe more truth will come out. I am loving this brother. Yeah.
Projects. So that's the difference with us.
Are you financing both parties in the run-up to general elections in St. Lucia?
No, I'm not financing any party. I'm financing the governments.
So whenever the governments come into office, you finance?
The government, I finance the government of St. Lucia, not a party.
How are you financing the government of the day?
Because we do government finance projects. So government needs a project done. I would come in and we get a budget and we work in the budget. I finance the project and I get paid for it. So work that I did under the last administration 4 years ago, I started getting paid for it in June of last year.
Wasn't that the arrangement?
It was the arrangement. Mm-hmm. So basically, would you say that I financed the United Workers' Party?
No, I'm
4 years ago?
I'm not asking you to that extent. I'm just
saying. What I'm saying is, the perception is you're financing a party. You're financing the government of the time. And I had done significant amount of financing for the government of the time that I only just started getting paid, right? So as we go forward, if this administration requests that I do financing projects for them, I would gladly do it.
We have no campaign finance, laws against campaign financing. So I was just asking that as a citizen you can make a contribution. I'm just asking whether you were in any shape or form funding the respective political parties or any political party in the run-up to a general election.
I have been very fortunate that the United Workers' Party believes that I'm affiliated with SLP, and the SLP believes that I'm affiliated with the United Workers' Party, right? So it has worked out for me that apparently both of them are afraid to approach me because of where they think I am.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the purchase of the beachfront property. So much has been said about this, and that sale took place about a year ago, and your name came up, I think because of a relative, your daughter.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about perception. The perception is that you were the one who purchased that property, and there's been talk about the value of the property. Originally valued at $6.7 million, revalued at $3.5 million, and sold for, I think, about, what, $2.7 million? Yeah. So the perception is that you purchased it, and not your daughter.
Yeah. No, the perception is I purchased it, and not my daughter. The reality is different. So if you go and look at the deed of sale and you look at the land register, you'll not see my name anywhere on it. But I don't think the sale of the land was the issue. I think the target was because Richard Frederick was involved in the ministry that sold that property. I think Richard is the target for political reasons, no other reason. Because so many other lands have been sold for so less money and nobody made a fuss for it. And it's not nobody made a fuss for it. They use whatever they can to make political mileage. But this one has nothing, really and truly. The reality is I was approached by a real estate agent to buy the property. And I was not really interested in it at the time. And 3 months later, they came back to me with the valuation. And they told me that's the valuation and that's what they wanted for it. And I still was not interested. And maybe another 4 or 5 months later, they approached me again. And that is when I asked my daughter if she would be interested to invest. Because she is settled in Dominica and she runs the operation in Dominica and St. Vincent. So she does not really come to St. Lucia as often. She goes to St. Vincent and Dominica. So I asked her if she was interested in investing in it. And she said to me, if I think it's good. And that's what happened.
What did you say?
She bought the property.
But why would the real estate agent contact you on what, 3 occasions?
Because they were trying to sell it to many other people.
And they were not interested.
And apparently they couldn't get it sold.
But the talk of it being undervalued because it had garbage in it and so on, this is prime.
Folks.
And usher him out. Take his microphone and usher him out. Take his microphone and usher him out.
Take the microphone quickly. My friend Reneau, everybody goes under the bus. I love this man. And Timothy is enjoying the moment because, I mean, he's a good guest to have on the network. He answers the questions. He's not running from them. So the man said he was approached because they tried to sell the land to other people. But the question is, what was the cost? When they approached those other buyers, what was the asking price for the land? Maybe that's why it was not being sold, because it was too expensive. Let's just slow down the process, brethren. Who would not want waterfront building in property in Castries? Who in their rightful mind in St. Lucia would not want waterfront property? Which businessman, which investor in the country would not want prime land in Castries, knowing that there's a development coming with the GPH deal? Think about it. A whole set of fellas wanted the land, but the sale did not go through. Why? Is it because it was too expensive? Is it because the real value is not really 2.7 million? Is it? I'm just asking for a friend of mine. I want problems. I want problems, oh. Wise Mayor. Is it that they could not have gotten the lands because they were acting like a bunch of zombies? They want the money, so they will do anything to get the money. So they were speaking to other individuals, possible buyers, but the price was too expensive. So they waited. After months, they realized nobody wants to buy it. It's too expensive. So they called Reneau the first time, give Reneau the price. I'm speculating. Reneau say, too hot. Them fellas talk among themselves. Gassa, we need the money, we need the money, Gassa. We have to sell that property, Gassa. So they give him a second offer. Reneau say, Mavley. But Reneau smiling, Reneau no. That have to go down the road.
Mon pas ça pour manger bêtise ça.
So, they try while between the second attempt with Reneau. I'm speculating, St. Lucians. Allow me to speculate. Freedom of expression. Freedom of speculation. So they said to the other fellas, Gassa, you all have to take the land, Gassa. Give us a little 10 million. Give us 15 million instead. Gassa, 25 million, $30 million, Gassa, for the land. That's good land. Plus GPH coming, Gassa. Take the land, Gassa. In the meantime, the real estate company, boy, them fellas already making plans for the $1 million deal, man. Yes. Yeah, man, they're planning for the $1 million bonus from the sale. So they're holding in. But the other fellas saying, we don't want that, too expensive. They come to Reneau for the third time. They give Reneau a new price. Reneau says, okay, fool man, Mavley. Fellas gone back. They say, Gassa, we got to get that sale, Gassa. We were so close to a big piece of money. They go back to previous buyers. The buyers say, too expensive, Gassa. Too expensive, Mavley. Somebody agreed that, Gassa, just give that man, give Reneau that for 2.7 million, man. We will still make a little change. Give him that, man, 2.7, Gassa. Then we conquer losses, man. Nobody wanted. Reneau's the only one. Reneau never refused it the first time. He didn't refuse it the second time. He didn't refuse it the third time. He's just telling us he ain't paying that kind of money for that land. You all have to drop it like it hot. Finally, Reneau is the only one who is saying drop the price and we'll take it. So they say, Reneau, we'll give you something, man. I'm just speculating. We'll give you contract at the hospital in view for you make back your money. I'm just speculating, friends. It's not the truth, but speculation. Allow me to play out my detective skills in public. So, they approach Reneau the fourth time. Reneau say, Gassa, now you guys talking. I will take it. Just give me 2 weeks. I will set it up. Don't worry. Reneau called his daughter. Hey, transfer 2.7 million. Yeah, man, we get a property. We get the property as ours. Yeah, man, because we can bring our ship there with all our materials right there. We good. We good. We get our own private wharf. Waterfront prime land. Big celebration in Dominica and St. Vincent. Then the land is sold to the lowest bidder, $2.7 million. Sold to Miss Kajada. Well, they say sold to Reneau Kajada. Oh, no, don't say that. Yes, sir. My daughter, why you all calling my name, oh? I don't want no trouble, oh. And so, that's where the story ends. in the whole Bonanza land drama saga. The real estate company, they went to Cabot. Eklayo kabwe bagayo mo celebration. Ooh, papa, yeah. Celebration time. Come on. Why is me? I know. But I'm just putting the best scenario together. Who lose? The people of St. Lucia, of course. But let's listen to... And by the way, I can see why Kajada is very... Reneau is successful in his business. He's smart. He's not going to go on any political platform. He needs both government. Yes. But he needs the United Workers' Party more. Because one, the United Workers' Party don't play with projects. They move swiftly. And two, they stick to their word. Three, you get pay. So Reneau knows very well that the people, Reneau was actually hiding behind the ignorant of the ignorance of some of the people. So Reneau was actually hiding behind the thought that Fresh Start was the problem and not him. So Reneau rode that wave to success. Rode that wave while Fresh Start got beaten down like a snake. And Reneau hid behind that wave. That's why Reneau is on top of the world. Yes, I can show you the world. Reneau knew the truth that Fresh Start was being dealt with falsely, wrongly, and unrighteously. Yes, Reneau knew the truth. But Reneau hid behind the deception and the nastiness that was being said about Fresh Start. Fresh Start is a good company. And right now, because of that nastiness, the housing project was stopped. A good housing project was stopped. And the fellas tried to find a horse of lies, but they were caught in their lies. And that's why my prediction is that the government of St. Lucia will pay millions of dollars to Fresh Start without Fresh Start lifting a hand or lifting a brick to do anything in St. Lucia. Very bad. Because of lies and deception, St. Lucia will pay the ultimate cost to Fresh Start. While Reneau continue his bidding process with the Sudis. And hides behind Fresh Start. I'm an old investigator. I just dropped something for you all. It's up to you all to believe it. I put things out so that you can speculate. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Hello. Wink, wink. It's independence. Let me enjoy myself. Wink, wink. Hello. Let's listen to more.
Listen to this. Valuation, depending on where you want the value to be, could be anything you want it to be. So, if I bought the so-called old madhouse now, what would you say the value is?
You tell us.
I don't know what the value would be.
Right. So the value may be one thing, and I buy it for something totally different.
But we know the value of the land on which it's located.
Know the value of, so the value of the land that they say it is, if I am willing to sell now, would people pay the value of the land? Because it is claimed that the land is worth, what, $80 million?
Some people have suggested,
some
people have suggested at least 50 million.
Right. So I would give it up for 25 million. And I would ask my daughter, not I would give it, I'd ask my daughter to give it up for 25 million.
Oh,
and I would ask for permission from it.
Oh, let's Reneau.
And usher him out.
No, usher him out yet. Wrong button. Not like that, oh. Reneau want problems. Reneau looking for problems. Listen, Reneau said, with a nice smile on his face, he's right behind me, you know. Look in there. It's not me, huh? He's right behind there. Reneau said that he will give up the land. When he catch him, he said, no, my daughter. So Reneau is a good businessman. You see his module, this man is a successful businessman because he's a smart businessman. This brother you see here, this brother is a good businessman. And I wish we had more men like him in the country. Well, not to buy off our lands for cheap, but I mean, so Reneau say, look, I would give that land up for $25 million. How much did he buy it for? $2.7 million. Anybody who wants that land from Reneau Kajada got to pay him at least $25 million for a land that was bought for $2.7 million. Now listen to me, St. Lucians. Reneau did not just throw out $25 million, you know, off of his head. He didn't just throw it out. Reneau is very much aware that he can get easily $25 million. You know why? Because the original offer to him at negotiation number 1 was $25 million. I am not promising you that, but that is what I suspect. This is a number that have been out there in Reneau's head. This $25,000. This ain't no fake number that was just thrown out by this smart businessman. And I love him. He threw it out. That's where they started in their negotiations, I'm sure. I'm just saying. I'm entitled to speculate, ain't it? Prime Minister said that I can speculate. He said that he put things out, the Panama account, he placed it out there so that people can speculate. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for the offer. I want problems, so I take it, and I'm speculating now. Anyone who wants that Banan's land, $25 million, you must come up with at least $25 million. Do you know what $25 million could have done for our healthcare system? Do you know the amount of bed sheets, plasters, medication, and beds St. Lucians could have gotten as a result of the sale of this land? Do you know the amount of homes that could have been built for St. Lucians if this land was sold for at least $25 million? Think about it, St. Lucians. Think about how the richest of the rich are playing on the poorest of the poor. Think about it. Not my degree. Where is it? This is not the issue. You think this is the issue? This is not the issue. That's not the issue, Herminia. From Denry. Patty hack. No, friends, this is the issue here. This land alone could have helped a whole set of poor families. If they had given me this $25, majority of poor St. Lucians would have been living in wall structures, 2-bedroom homes, with bathroom, with toilet, and a kitchen and a living area. With this $25 million. That one land alone, I could have supplied homes for a lot of St. Lucians around the island. Yeah? You believe me? Of course it is true. So it shows you too that the rich people don't really care much about you. They're out for their pockets, their profits, and that's the game. Do you blame them for wanting more and for wanting return on their investment? They're into business to win. But for God's sake, you got to think about the poorer of the poor in your country. If you love your country, this is independence. If you're so patriotic, then you would think of the resources that you are taking away from St. Lucians. But who am I? I'm just saying things, but go ahead.
I mean, this is a great opportunity for anybody who wants to pay $25 million for it. Talk to me, and I'll be the real estate agent for my daughter and make something on it.
But this is state asset, wasn't it?
So
Why shouldn't it be publicized so that other people who have gotten an opportunity as opposed to a real estate contacting you?
Well, you see, the thing about it is, that question I cannot answer, why they don't publicize it. And I think, the government sells a lot of property all over the place that has not been advertised. And, even like Monpima.
St. Lucians, the elites in your country are sucking the resources of the country. Listen to me. A lot of them fellas don't care about the poor families. Listen to me. And that's one of the reasons why they don't publicize these major sales. They don't. There is only a small elite in the country that is benefiting from the resources of the country. And no matter how they say to you, they love you. They love you. Ask them to show their emotion. Ask them to pay you above what is expected. Ask them to pay you a livable wage without the government. Ask them to do it. Oh, they love you so much. But they still pay you $5 an hour, $7 an hour. In construction. Shame. You're patriotic and you love St. Lucians. Show it. Don't wait for the government. Anyway, we got to end soon, so who am I, St. Lucians? You guys cuss me off. I no good. Who am I to talk to you? You feel. Who can't hear will feel.
Pima is where Modern Continental Hotel was, behind the St. Lucian Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand a developer has bought it. For me, it was not advertised. And I was even told about it.
Was it owned? Is it owned by the state?
Apparently, it was owned by the state because it was bought.
So here's another thing. So them fellas begged Reneau to buy property in Castries, but then they hide they hide another important property from him. Your party, your party, the same real estate company, they ain't call him. Who is the real estate company? Who is the owner? Who are the shareholders? Hello, who is the cousin? Who is the best friend, best buddy? Don't let me uncover it. You better come forward with the name, because I will expose the name very soon. Hello. Government come out and tell St. Lucians, the real estate company that were involved, come fast. I don't want to put out the name, oh. I don't want trouble, oh. So they ain't tell Reneau about that deal because he was watching that too. They only give him the Castries one. So they hide. Reneau, you upset with them. That's why you're talking. You upset, right? You get the land you really wanted. That one was for your cousin you was going to buy it for? Who you was going to buy this one for? Your cousin? Gotcha. But let's get to work. Let's finish the work.
Administration through Invest St. Lucia, right? But if I knew about it, I would have been interested in it as well. But I didn't know about it. So do I go about making a big noise that they didn't advertise it? Maybe somebody who was interested went and looked for it and got it.
We'll put a telephone number on screen right now so they can call with your questions and comments for. Caller, go ahead, please. I'm listening.
What I would like to see is maybe you go and
Maybe somebody who was interested went and looked.
my brother. Bravo, Peter. That is Nancy Charles. You understand? Everybody.
And you know, this place has developed very, very well over the years. So I don't see ancillary being in the. What did they take into consideration to determine it being the parish? The parish.
Yeah.
No, I didn't understand the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did the cleanup and I did the fencing up, and it took quite some time. I don't know if you realize that nothing was going on there, but they were putting documents together, and I submitted prices to do one phase of the project, 4 of the buildings, and it took like 6 months before me submitting a price and going through a number of levels of scrutiny before I was awarded the job. So, you know, and that is the difference with, I think, this administration, that they take too much time with too many levels of scrutiny to the project before it is awarded.
I have a question, Mr. Kajada. As we realize that crime is on the rise,
but not to work. But unemployment is not a.
And you were saying like people do not have respect and manners. And some of the people you have at your business have no respect and manners.
I don't think he's saying nobody at his place, but it's true. Let's be real. There are a lot of people who are just unemployable. You can't have them in your business. They come to the interview, they have no manners, no brought up. See, it is true, there are a lot of people in the country that you should not have them in your business. They will run it down. They have no manners, and that's just the truth. Yes, they come to the interview and they ain't hiding their bad manners, you know. They're rude. You can see that there are going to be problems in your business. So the man is right. Don't get bent out of shape. A lot of St. Lucians are not employable. Look at on Facebook, some of them. Imagine you have a ferocious person like that in your business. Like Herminia. You have Herminia in your business in Mr. Kajada. First thing she's going to tell you that you don't have a certificate. And you're not a businessman. First thing I will do is call radio stations and tell the radio stations, Reneau did this, Reneau not good, Reneau is a dog. That's what they do. They're not employable. That's just a fact. There are no manners. And that's why you ought to be careful when you bring people in your business. They will sink your ship because they will think you owe them the world. But, however, there are some who want to work, but they will not work for $4 an hour because it's not enough to pay the bus and provide food for their families. You understand what I'm saying? I have a proposal before I close this show to the government of St. Lucia, to any government at all that will come in. You, government of St. Lucia, if you're having a hard time increasing minimum wage or having a livable wage in your country, I have a recommendation. You can act right now. The government of St. Lucia can act right now to pay individuals the proper salary, a proper salary. It is within their means, outside of the private sector, having agreements with them. That might be where the challenge is. Here's what you can do as a government right now. You go into the House to pass all kind of laws and amendments. You know what you can do right now, government of St. Lucia? You can say to any business, anyone who wants to do business with the government of St. Lucia, you must pay such and such amount of money to your workers. You must not underpay anyone who works with you. You, the government of St. Lucia, can do that right now. Anyone who seeks to work with the government, whether it's a construction company, a printing company, whatever company it is, once you want to do business with us as a government, we are not doing any business with anyone who underpays anybody. So nobody's going to get $4 an hour, and as a government, we're going to do business with you. Security company, if you want to do business with the government of St. Lucia, you got to pay more than $4 an hour. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense. We got to start with the government of St. Lucia, the people that you do business with. Insist, put it into law, that you will not do business with anyone who underpays their workers or abuse their workers. Because if you do business with them and you turn a blind eye, it means that you're just like them, government of St. Lucia. Pass the law now. Pass the law now. Those are things that you can do right now to fix the employment issue in the country. Those are things that you can do immediately. To show the workers of this country that you mean business. So all them security companies you have working for you, paying people $3 and $4 an hour, you, government of St. Lucia, are responsible for that. Nobody else. You. Because you continue to do business with them. You got to do what is right now. Force their hands. No proper salary, no business, sorry. You got to meet these requirements. And you will see how happy workers will be in this country when you, the government, lead by example. Yeah? Raise the salaries of St. Lucians, and you need to start with government of St. Lucia. Hey, monsieur, I hear a long time. There's a lot more, but monitor. So my advice to you is to go donate blood so Miss Claudia can get the blood that is needed urgently. St. Lucians, watch your bread. It was nice being here with you. I give you a lot of hours today. And I all right with that. Okay? So until we meet again, maybe Sunday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, whenever it is, I'll make the announcement. Until then, goodbye. And Miss Herminia, leave me alone. Don't look for no trouble with nobody. Be nice. Be nice to me. I know you, you know me. We ain't have no problem. So don't look for no problem. Are you African? You are problems. Leave me alone. According to Lottie. Don't trouble me. Don't come for me. Folks, enjoy the rest of your independence celebration. Be safe. Be safe on the road. All right? Sharon, thank you so much. Randy, greetings to you. Sharon says she want problems. Go to Denry, you'll get problems with Herminia. Bibiana. Bibiana, don't look for trouble. Oh, I don't want no trouble. Oh. Randy, no problem, anytime. Martin Francis, my brother. Where's Lawrence here? Elizabeth, Val, Ella, Malcolm, Sakafet, BBDD, Cleopatra, howdy, Francisca. I can't see all of you folks, but have a really good rest of your afternoon. Goodbye, St. Lucia. Don't forget to watch your bread. Hello. Look, my do the best just come, Lawrence. You pay just show up. Who the guy dummy? Go Independence, who got dummy? You wasn't in Soufre. Go in Soufre on the artificial turf. That was rejected. Go there. Go there. Malvina. Greetings. And Jopé. Good folks. See you all. I gone feelings, nothing more than feelings. Bye-bye. Adios. Yeah, Lawrence, yeah, I know you were there. Bye.